Hi everyone. So today we will explore the poem named Relativity, which is written by Sarah Howe. This poem is dedicated to the famous scientist Stephen Hawking, and the poem is inspired by so many scientific concepts, especially the theory of relativity, quantum physics, etc. The poem blends science and poetry to explore a deep connection or deep ideas about time, space, uncertainty, etc. Sarah Howe, our poet, uses poetic devices such as imagery, metaphor, etc. to explain these complex ideas in a beautiful and creative way. Our goal today is to understand these poetic devices and see how they enhance the meaning and quality of the poem, readability of the poem. So before we start, let's quickly understand what a poetic device is. A poetic device is a tool that is used by the poet to enhance the rhythm, meaning, and to make their poems more powerful, memorable, and readable. Now let's go through the different poetic devices that's been used in the poem Relativity and see how they contribute to the poem's deeper meaning. First of all, imagery. So what is imagery? Imagery is when a poet uses different kinds of words to create an effect, a picture in reader's mind. So it applies to all our senses: sights, touch, sound, taste, smell. There are different kinds of imageries. So the first imagery we are going to deal with is visual imagery, which means it is related with sight. Look at the example from the poetry. Look at the evidences from the poetry. Photons used from sleds like greyhounds at the track. So this line describes the movement of the light particles. The light particles are named as photons. So in an experiment, the photons are moving. So the movement of the photons are captured here as random and moving speedily. So it connects with the sight and it gives us a visual over our eyes, in front of our eyes. And look at the second example, that stripe a dimmed lab's wall. So it refers to the light and the shadow patterns that is created in a laboratory. So it is painting a mental picture of a dim lit laboratory in our minds. Look at the next example, predicts black holes where parallel lines will meet. So this line paints a picture of space bending under the force of gravity. Actually, the space is bending under the force of gravity. Next is tactile imagery. Tactile means it is related to touch or sensation. When we wake up brushed by panic in the dark, so the word brushed, it gives a physical feeling of panic, which is making the reader to experience the fear. Actually, the fear, we cannot visualize the fear literally, but we can feel the fear. So literally, how that person in the poetry is feeling afraid of something while waking up in the dark. That feeling is conveyed here through the word brushed, and it is known as tactile imagery. Next is auditory imagery. Auditory. Audio means hearing. It is related to sound. A universe that dopplers away like a siren's midnight cry. Look at the line. A universe that dopplers away like a siren's midnight cry. So the mention of the siren's cry mimics the Doppler effect. Okay, so this helps us hear the fading sound of a siren. We know how a siren would appear. Okay, when the siren or when a police jeep or an ambulance is moving towards us with the siren, the sound will, the pitch or the frequency of the sound will increase as long as it reaches us. And when it is moving away from us, the pitch or the sound will decrease. So similarly, she is using or she's saying that a universe is also expanding. Our universe is also expanding in the same way how the siren's cry is fading. Next is known as kinetic imagery. So kinetic means movement, motion. So it shows that the photons loosed from the slits are moving like greyhounds at the track. Greyhounds means hunter dogs at the track. So they are on a race. So it shows the unpredictable nature and the speed of the photons. And then bend in tracks can't resist. So this helps us. This describes how light bends near a black hole. It refers to the black hole. How the light is bending near a black hole, and it makes us visualize the movement. So that is known as kinetic imagery. Next is conceptual imagery. So conceptual imagery means the abstract ideas and scientific notions. Okay. So with a wave bid all certainties goodbye. So we can see that there is a play on a wave. Like here they are referring to the dual nature of light as particle and light as wave. So here we can see the second nature, that is light as wave. So and it is also like waving a goodbye, saying goodbye to someone by waving our hands. And it is a blending of science with human experience. That is what is called as abstract ideas and scientific notions. And then we can see the line, time dilates like a perfect afternoon. There is a concept called time dilation. Okay, so the line abstractly compares the concept of time dilation to the subjective experience of a peaceful afternoon. Like, for example, let's imagine that there are two twins. Okay, one boy and a girl. So twins means they have born on the same day, same time, for the same mother and father. And let's assume that when both of them are of 10 years old, the girl is remaining on the earth, and the boy is going on a spatial tour along with the sun. Okay, so after 10 years the boy will come into the earth, but the girl will be 20 years by now, but the boy will be 10 years. Because when we travel in the speed of the light, we can surpass the time. That's what time dilation means. And this concept is beautifully conveyed through this line. Next comes metaphor. So what is a metaphor? A metaphor is something when one thing is compared to another without using like or as. When we say simile, in similes we say it is direct comparison. Like we are saying it looks like that, you look like Aishwarya Rai, the moon looks like a plate, a well cleaned plate and all. So this is called a simile. But metaphor is an indirect comparison where the words like or as is not used there. So it helps to explain complex ideas in a creative way. Let's see what are the examples in the poem. So here also we can say that scientific metaphors are there, and photons loosed from slits like greyhounds at the track. So this compares photons to racing greyhound, showing their speed. Actually, we cannot say that it is completely metaphor. It is also simile because they are using the word like, but here they are illustrating the speed and unpredictable movement in the double slit experiment. So it is symbolic of the even though it comes under simile, it is symbolic and it is metaphorically referring to the double slit experiment that was carried out in order to show that light has dual nature. And next is for what's sure in a universe that Doppler's away, and it is comparing to the Doppler effect, time dilation. Next line. And after that it comes to the prediction of black hole. Black holes are metaphorically described as places where the usual rules of the space or physics are breaks down. Next comes philosophical metaphors. So what do you mean by philosophical metaphors? With a wave, bid all certainties goodbye. So this line plays on the wave particle duality of light. That means the dual nature of light. So it is existential. The content there is existential. Okay, and it is metaphorically suggesting that the science challenges fixed truths. Like, first of all, everyone believed that there is only single nature for the light, but then we proved that no, light also has dual nature. One is particle and one is wave. Both behaves in different ways. So this is what science means, challenging even the fixed truths. And next, if we can think this far, might not our eyes adjust to the dark? So adjusting to the dark is a metaphor used here for human adaptability and intellectual curiosity. Human beings are very much curious about everything. Whatever we are experiencing today are the results of human curiosity. So here we can see that adjusting to the dark is a metaphor which refers to the human curiosity and adaptability. Next comes the structural metaphor. So structural metaphor means the poetic form as a metaphor. So Relativity, the poem itself is in the format of a sonnet. A sonnet is a 14-line poem, and the form of the sonnet is metaphorically compared to a black hole, which means inside the black hole, even the light or sound cannot escape. Okay, all the rules of physics, all the rules of the universe are altered over there. So sonnet form is metaphorically compared to the nature of a black hole, which is compressing the vast and complex ideas within a confined space, which means the ideas that are expressed in this poem are very much difficult and a little bit overwhelming as well, but they are efficiently crafted inside this sonnet form, and it is mirroring the way gravity compacts the matter inside black holes. Next comes the light and darkness as knowledge and uncertainty. Like, when we wake up brushed by panic in the dark, so the darkness is metaphorically representing the ignorance or the fear, while the search for light symbolizes the quest for understanding or the quest for knowledge. And there is a saying, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, which means put light where it is dark. So darkness means we don't know anything about how the universe is working or what is happening or anything about the updates, but actually we have to conduct researches and we have to ask questions in order to put light on our doubts, in order to put light on the dark areas in our memory. Next comes bend in tracks can resist. So this refers to the starlight bending due to gravitational force, but can also metaphorically represent the human knowledge that is being shaped by the new discoveries. Next comes simile. So what is a simile? A simile is similar to a metaphor. I already told you it uses like or as for comparison. It is a direct comparison. The first of all, it is photons loosed from the slits like greyhounds. Here they are using the word like, and this line compares light particles to racing greyhounds. It shows double slit experiment, and it shows like racing dogs. Next we can say time dilation. So it is related to the theory of relativity by Einstein's afternoon, and here we can see the subjectivity of time's passage. And there always say a university that Doppler's away. So here they are referring about the Doppler's effect. Then comes the personification. So personification is one of the major poetic device that's been used in the poetry or even stories in order to highlight the mood of the story and in order to deepen the emotions. So personification gives human-like qualities to non-human things. with a wave, but all certainty is goodbye. Saying goodbye and waving a goodbye is an action that is usually attributed to human beings. Here they are described, the light waves are described as if they can say goodbye, symbolizing the uncertainty and bend in its track. So starlight is personified as being forced to bend in a black hole. So bending, and all these are physical activities that are usually attributed to human beings, but here we can see that they are using it for light waves or starlight. And then says that our pupils grope for the shape of things we know. Our eyes are described as searching for similar things. Actually it is not our eyes, it's we are searching for light, we are searching for new knowledge, we are searching for the updates, we are searching for the facts. But it is said that in the poem, it is said that our pupils, our eyes are searching for the light. So it is also coming under personification. Next comes symbolism. So what is symbolism? Symbolism is when objects, colors or ideas are representing something deeper. Okay, so first of all we have light and darkness. They are saying that when we wake up brushed by panic in the dark, so this shows the fear of the unknown. Here the light symbolizes knowledge and darkness symbolizes uncertainty. Okay, then comes black holes. Black holes symbolize mystery and the limits of human understanding. Black holes symbolize mystery. Then comes and actually the black then comes the Doppler's effect or the sonnet form. Then comes the sonnet form. Actually the poem itself is in a compressed space. Okay, so the sonnet structure symbolizes a black hole. Then comes the Doppler's effect. A Doppler's effect, a universe that Dopplers away like a siren's midnight cry. So it symbolizes the ever changing, or this represents the change, movement and the fleeting nature of the certainty. Next comes contrast or juxtaposition. So contrast or juxtaposition, we can see that when we wake up brushed by panic in the dark, our pupils grope for the shape of the things we know. So it juxtaposes panic and darkness with the search for familiar shape. So it highlights the contrast between fear and understanding. Contrast means the opposition. Okay, then there is a line called the stripe dimmed lab's wall, particles no more, and with the waves bid all certainties goodbye. So it contrasts the certainty of particles and the uncertainty of wave. Actually I told you there is dual nature of light. One is particle and one is wave nature, and both are different. And particle nature can be more certain and wave nature can lead to uncertainty. So that's what they are referring here. Then there is the line, it predicts black holes where parallel lines will meet. So it juxtaposes the mathematical certainty that parallel lines will never meet with the gravitational distortion. So we can say that parallel lines are parallel lines, they won't even meet anywhere. That's what we understand according to mathematics. But we have already studied that inside the black holes, all the rules of the universe, all the rules and laws of the physics will be distorted. So if parallel lines are not meeting inside in the universe, outside the black holes, inside the black hole the parallel lines can meet. So there they are bringing up the juxtaposition of the mathematical certainty and the nature of black holes. And other things, we have rhetorical questions. In the rhetorical question we can say that, for what sure in a universe that Dopplers away like a midnight cry of a siren. So it questions the certainty of knowledge in an ever expanding universe. Like We are studying so many things, we are studying so many scientific theories, we are studying so many philosophical things and all, but what assurance can you give that this is true? Because the universe is expanding and it is like a siren's midnight cry. And how can you say that this is the ultimate truth? The truth may change according to the circumstances, and the truth may vary, because one of the examples is the parallel lines in the black hole. Because the parallel lines will never meet anywhere. That's the truth. According to mathematics and according to our textbooks and each and every theory inside the world, in the world. But when it comes to black hole, all the laws of the physics are broken down. So we don't know what is happening over there. Clear? So it is a rhetorical question. And they are also saying that if we can think this far, might not our eyes adjust to the dark. So it suggests that the human curiosity and intellect can adapt to even the most complex mysteries of the universe. We are not aware of all the knowledge. We are not aware of everything about the universe. But we are pretending to be. And next comes enjambment. So enjambment means when a sentence runs over multiple lines without pause. This makes the poem feel continuous, just like time itself. The time will not be pausing anywhere, right? Similarly, the poem is also flowing. Okay. For what sure in a universe that Doppler's away like a siren's midnight cry. So we can see that for what sure in a universe that Doppler's is one line, and away like a siren midnight cry is another line. But the split over these two lines are vanished. Okay. And it is emphasizing the uncertainty and movement of the expanding universe. Similarly, in the second line as well, in the second example as well, we can see they say a flash seen from on and off a hurtling train will explain why time dilates like a perfect afternoon. So this extended idea mimics the continuous and fluid nature of time and motion in the relativity theory according to Einstein. Okay, so the flow of the line mimics the flow of the nature of time and motion according to Einstein's theory of relativity. Then we can see the line predicts black holes where parallel lines will meet. So this creates a flowing gravitational pull-like effect. For example, if an apple is falling from a tree, it won't wait for anyone, right? If it is falling, it will go in a flow and it will touch the ground. So this here, the lines are also reflecting the unstoppable force of the black holes. Like there is a flow and the gravitational pull is over there. Next comes alliteration. Alliteration means the repetition of consonant sounds in the poetry for rhythm and emphasis. So, in the line photons loosed from slits like greyhounds at the track, the sound S mimics the swift motion of photons. Photons loosed from slits. So, it is reinforcing the speed and unpredictability. And in the next line, for what sure in a universe that Doppler's away like a siren's midnight cry, the S and D sounds create a rhythmic and fading effect. Okay, and it is mirroring the Doppler's shift in this line. And in the third line we can see that bent in its tracks can't resist. So here we can see the repetition of the T and R sounds that emphasize the forceful bending of the light under gravity. Here see, bent in its tracks can't resist. So the T sound is varying according to the word that's been used. The pronunciation of the T sound is varying according to the words they used, and it emphasizes how the light is forced to bend under gravity. And there are other poetic devices in this poem, and other devices are irony. So irony is what the difference between what is said and what is meant. So the certainty of science is questioned as even fundamental truth. are uncertain. We are saying that science is ultimate and science is always going for the truth, chasing the truth. But even after saying that, we are saying that everything is uncertain. So that is called as irony. Okay. Then comes parallelism. So parallelism means the repetition of similar structures such as in scientific references. For example, the duality of light, black holes, etc. Then assonance. Assonance means the repetition of vowel sounds. For what sure in a universe that Doppler's away like a siren's midnight cry. The I sound, E sound are repeating. Then comes consonants. The repetition of consonant sounds. Then caesura. It is a deliberate pause within a line, bent in its track, can't resist. So it is the opposite of enjambment. Enjambment means there is a flow between the lines. Here there is a pause in between the line. Okay. And next is paradox. Paradox means ideas that seem contradictory to each other. Okay. Parallel lines will meet. It is paradox. Actually, parallel lines will never meet, but parallel lines will meet. That's what she's saying here. Where will the parallel lines meet? So they are holding a deeper meaning here. Okay. So it is referring to the black hole. Then the tone. The tone is reflective and philosophical and slightly melancholic, and it is questioning the nature of certainty in science and human understanding. So in order to conclude, Sarah Howe's Relativity, the poem is a fascinating blend of poetry and science. She uses so many poetic devices to explain the complex ideas in a creative and emotional way. Okay, so the major takeaways that you can take from this poetry is what are the major poetic devices she is using and what are the major scientific theories she is describing here. Just like alliteration, enchantment, rhetorical questions, and how she is explaining the concept of black holes, gravitational pull, time dilation, relativity, etc. So by understanding these poetic devices, we can appreciate not only the beauty of the poem, but also how the poetry and science can come together in a meaningful way. Okay, so I hope the chapter is clear, and thank you for listening. Thank you.